Hey, I'm with Noah from the Spoony Experiment. How are you today, Noah?
I'm doing great. This is a crazy show. I'm really loving every second of it.
Yeah, I have no words to describe this. This is our first E3, so we're a little overwhelmed. I apologize if I start stuttering.
No. This is a big show, and there's a lot to see. The first time I went here, I spent 3 days here. I still didn't feel like I'd seen everything there was to see. It's impossible. So really, all you can do is just wander around and let yourself get interested. You know, let yourself get just see what draws you and go see that.
That's very good advice, I'd say. What's a game that's really stuck out to you, maybe surprised you a bit?
Surprised me a bit. I've been a broken record ever since I started this last year, Deus Ex Human Revolution.
I thought so, yeah.
That one didn't surprise me because I knew that was going to be good. But a surprising one. I don't know if you've seen Atari, the Atari booth. Yeah. There's a game called Warlords there, which is an Xbox Live Arcade game, and it was immediately one of the most addicting games I played. I wasn't really expecting much because I don't normally expect much from an Xbox Live Arcade. That was very good. Also, Saints Row the Third. If you can get in to see a demo of that, that game is fucking insane.
Like, when I saw the posters, it looked like a Jersey Shore promotion, but yeah. If you're like, so I kind of haven't been avoiding it, but I haven't really been over there, so it's definitely worth a check out.
It's this game where they just try to constantly top themselves on the craziest shit you could. Can I say shit?
Absolutely, you can say anything.
The craziest shit you could put on a screen, like you start off. The demo starts off with throwing an old lady down on the ground and dropping a Super Macho Man elbow drop on her, and they're like, "Oh, you thought that was wrong? Let's go beat some hobos to death with a 4-foot plastic rubber dildo." And he whips out this fucking, and then
that's wrong.
Well, I had not seen that before.
I should look my life over.
Like I know GTA did the dildo beatings, but not like a dildo. You've never seen a dildo this size, or at least I haven't.
Not of that magnitude, no.
No. And then they're like, it's the only game I've seen where you can call in an airstrike to wipe out a gang of luchadors. And then they're like, you can drive a car that inhales pedestrians and fires them out of a giant clown cannon at airplanes. You know, this game, there's no words to describe the madness that goes on in this freaking game. That was the surprising one for me. I was not ready for that.
So what were you doing? I know you said you were doing gaming journalism or something like that before you started your website?
The way I started was mainly just writing reviews of movies on forums and just kind of making my friends laugh. And I got started with a comic book called Knights of the Dinner Table. And the guy was reading my reviews and he's like, we should just publish your reviews of geeky movies, sci-fi movies. I started, basically the first one I really wrote was Star Wars The Phantom Menace. And this was before hating the prequels was kind of cool. When the prequels first came out, everyone still really liked them. No, everyone was kind of in this phase of denial. And the movies just kept getting worse. And so I was kind of hating Star Wars before hating Star Wars was cool. I don't know what that says about me, but anyway, so I started writing for this comic book. And then I started making videos just because I had actually not heard of the Angry Video Game Nerd. I was actually kind of copying another critic that I had seen, and then as I was editing the video, somebody was like, "Oh, like the Angry Nintendo Nerd." I was like, "Oh, damn it! Oh, I'm ripping this guy off too." So yeah, so I started making these videos just to entertain my friends, and I think that's really what I would suggest for anyone trying to get started: is don't do this to make money, do this because it's fun, and do this to make your friends laugh, because that's the big thing.
That's surprisingly actually how I kind of got started doing it too. Like I told you earlier, I was doing the reviews and people thought they were funny, and then the first thing somebody said is like, "Oh, this sounds like Video Game Nerd." Mm-hmm. And I was just like, "Who?" and checked it out and like, "Oh, now I can't do this for a while."
I was not ripping off I was ripping off someone entirely different, but I was still ripping someone off. Yeah.
I think everything is always a rip-off of something. It's not necessarily that nothing's original. It's just kind of like taking it and making it your own.
Oh yeah, and you've still got to find your own voice, something that sets you apart. I mean, just having being an angry guy talking about video games, to really generate a fan base, it takes that little extra something, but really being yourself is sometimes all you need, which is lucky, because
you're definitely very personable, and like your voice is recognizable, like your look and everything. As soon as I saw you come around the corner, I was like, that's Noah.
See, I still can't believe people recognize me. That's weird, because I don't think
You're a huge celebrity.
I guess, but
you're bigger than Jesus.
I'm sorry I'm distracted. I keep seeing Ratchet over there. Go, pan over and see Ratchet.
Do you think it's really him?
Well, he's kind of got this one expression frozen on his face. It's kind of creepy now that I think about it.
He's gonna haunt your nightmares. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's very distracting. I'm sorry. I'll pay attention. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, speaking of nightmares, one of my favorite reviews you did was of the board game Nightmare, because I grew up playing that game. And the second I saw that review, I showed like my mom, my sister, like everybody I played it with. And now my mom watches your show and everything.
Well, I used to see that. I used to play it too a long time ago, and I'd forgotten almost everything about it until I bought the game again. But those commercials used to be everywhere. And it used to be, it was called Atmosphere back in the day. At least it was called where I was from. It was Atmosphere. But that movie, the video anyway, was one of the funniest things I remember seeing, just because it was actually very scary, and you wouldn't expect that. But it was more like slap you in the face, kind of loud noise.
Yeah, when he would just like pop out and go like, stop!
Stop!
And as a kid, you're just like, piss your pants.
There's another one. I was originally going to do all the videos, but they didn't turn out to be as funny as the first one. But if you're really curious to check out another really scary one, there's a video, there's an extra video that kind of replaces the original for this woman called Onda Chantrain, who turns into no, she burns to death. So like as the video goes on, she starts to burn to death. But the really scary part of that one is instead of a thunderclap and she goes, stop! This one, there's like this huge whip cracking sound. It's like right in your ear. It scares the Jesus out of you.
They probably tested sounds to see what made people jump more, and just like.
I don't want to rant on this too long because I could probably talk all day on this, but rebooting is tough because you really do have 50, 60 years of history, and if you can't, you almost can never do like a blanket reboot because there's so much history that goes away. Just blink of an eye, it's gone. And so that's actually been always the problem with the reboots, like the Crisis on Infinite Earths, all that stuff. They want to get rid of the bad stuff, but they want to keep the good stuff. And so it's like a partial reboot, which is why you've got characters like Power Girl, Hawkman, Donna Troy, who have like multiple origins, and they always try to have them kind of make sense, you know? So if they're doing a full reboot, it's going to piss people off because, like, for instance, Batgirl is now Barbara Gordon again.
Really?
Yeah. You know how she, like...
Wasn't she in a wheelchair?
Yeah, well, she was Batgirl, and then she got shot by the Joker in one of the most classic comic books of all time, The Killing Joke. That's how she became the Oracle. That was one of the most shocking events, one of the most... You know, it's so rare that you see a comic story that changes the status quo.
And they kind of brought Jason Todd back in the same way, too. Like, that was really shocking, and then they bring him back as a villain, thinking it'd be equally as shocking.
Right, and so you've got these changes that people really like to see, and now they're gone. You know, it kind of feels, it's frustrating. They want to get new readers involved, and I can appreciate that, but it's frustrating for old, loyal readers, because it kind of says, all those years you spent growing up with these characters, forget that. Fuck that. You know, and so you can kind of see both sides. It's really intimidating for a new comic book fan. They don't know where to start. So issue number 1 with a reboot, great place to start. But for the fans, what did I spend all this time and money on? Why did I spend all this time caring about the characters when you just jab the power button, reset? It's really frustrating.
All right, Noah, thank you very much for all your time. Really appreciate it, and I apologize for the...
Everyone starts out somewhere. And you did fine. You didn't vomit on me.
I kept it held back.